Good evening. This is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Katholena with the evening news. The headlines. Centre writes to state governments and union territories to include all eligible disabled persons under the National Food Security Act 2013. Information and Broadcasting Ministry releases detailed SOP for resuming work in media production industry. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh says states and union territories can avail Common Eligibility Test to be conducted by National Recruitment Agency for job selection. And Nagaland's COVID-19 tally climbs up to 3,686. Centre has written to state governments and union territories, UTs, to include all eligible disabled persons under the National Food Security Act 2013. The Department of Food and Public Distribution has advised all states and union territories to ensure that all disabled persons who are eligible as per identification criteria of beneficiaries under NFSA are covered under the National Food Security Act and they get their entitled quota of food grains under NFSA and PMGKAY as per provisions of the Act. The department reiterated that this ability is one of the criteria for inclusion of beneficiaries under Antyodaya Anna Yojana households as disabled persons are vulnerable section of the society. The letter further advised that it is imperative that they are also covered by states and union territories under priority households as per the criteria of identification evolved by them. Information and Broadcasting Ministry has released a detailed Standard Operating Procedure SOP for resuming work in the media production industry. The SOP ensures adequate distancing at shoot locations and other workplaces and contains measures including proper sanitization, crowd management, and provision for protective equipments. There must be 6 feet physical distancing at shoot locations, recording studios and editing rooms. Scenes, sequences, camera locations, crew position, seating should follow distancing. There should be minimum cast and crew during shoot, and visitors and audience will not be allowed on sets. Coordination with local authorities must be done to manage spectators during outdoor shoots. Staggered call and backup timings must be followed for different production units at studios with multiple sets. There must be designated entry and exit points for shoot locations. Regular sanitization of sets, makeup rooms, vanity vans, and washrooms must be ensured. Contact minimization is at the core of the SOP. This will be ensured by minimal physical contact and sharing of props. Makeup artists and hairstylists must use PPEs. Persons handling shared equipment must wear gloves. Lapel mics are to be avoided and never shared. Higher risk employees should take extra precautions and preferably not be exposed to frontline work requiring contact with public. Using face masks is mandatory at all public and workplaces. Frequent hand washing is to be practiced and there must be provision of hand sanitizer at entry and in work areas. Speeding is strictly prohibited and respiratory etiquette should be followed. Thermal screening will be done at all entry points and only asymptomatic persons would be allowed on premises. Physical distancing of 6 feet must be practiced at all times as far as feasible. States and union territories can avail the Common Eligibility Test CET to be conducted by National Recruitment Agency NRA for job selection. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has said that the CET score can be shared with the recruiting agencies in the state and union territory administration as well as public sector undertakings and also later on with the private sector. He said this will actually help the recruiting agencies, including the state and union territory administrations, to save the cost and time spent on recruitment, while at the same time also be convenient and cost effective for the young job aspirants. The minister said an arrangement in the form of Memorandum of Understanding could be put in place for using the CET score by these agencies and these organizations. He further revealed that the Department of Personnel and Training and he is in touch with many states and union territories which have expressed their inclination to be a part of the sharing arrangement of Common Eligibility Test score. The minister informed that most of the chief ministers are also quite enthusiastic and favorable to adopt this reform. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today called for a national movement for women's empowerment. Naidu urged all to ensure that no girl child is left out of school, while observing that the flagship scheme Beti Bachao Beti Padhao has undoubtedly created a positive impact. Naidu said that much more needs to be done to change the societal mindset. In a Facebook post titled "End Discrimination, Empower Women," Naidu pointed out that women constituting about 50% of India's population, progress cannot be achieved unless they are given equal opportunities in all spheres, including the political arena. He urged all political parties to arrive at a consensus at the earliest on the long-pending proposal to provide adequate reservation to women in Parliament and state legislatures at the earliest. You're listening to the news from All India Radio, Kohima. Nagaland reported 51 new cases of COVID-19 positive today, taking the total state's tally to 3,686. Health and Family Welfare Minister S. Pangnupom informed that 31 cases were detected in Kohima, 10 in Dimapur, 5 in Mon, 2 in Tuensang, 1 in Mokchun, and 2 in Zunaboto. Health Department updated that of the 51 cases detected today, 28 are from armed forces, 3 from returnees, 14 from trace contacts, and 6 from frontline workers. Meanwhile, 128 people have recovered today, taking the total recovered cases to 2,294, while active cases stand at 1,376. So far, 8 have lost their lives due to COVID-19. Additional Deputy Commissioner Kohima Litrongla Tongpi Rutsa has notified on sealing of certain locations in Kohima in view of detection of COVID-19 positive persons. The sealed areas include Forest Colony, Lower PR Hill, New Ministers Hill, Upper Nagabazar Colony, New Market Colony, Upper Lirie, Middle Bayava Colony, and Officers Hill. All movement of persons or vehicles within the defined sealed area is strictly prohibited and under active surveillance with immediate effect. Health Ministry said the recovery rate of COVID-19 in the country has improved further and now it has reached 74.9% today. During the last 24 hours, 57,989 COVID patients have recovered. The case fatality rate also continues to show steady decline and now stands at 1.86%. Of the overall tally of 30,44,940, India now has 7,07,668 active cases, while more than 22,80,000 people have recovered. The COVID tally has crossed the 30 lakh mark after the country reported 69,239 fresh cases in the last 24 hours. The country's death toll rose by 912 to 56,706. Health and Family Welfare Minister Harsh Vardhan has said that the country will have a vaccine against the deadly coronavirus by the end of this year. He told reporters that one of the 3 COVID-19 vaccine candidates has entered the 3rd phase of the preclinical human trial. Head of National Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. V.K. Paul said the vaccine candidate entering the 3rd phase has yielded encouraging results in the initial phases of its trial. Dr. Paul said that the other 2 vaccines are currently in phase 1 or 2 of their preclinical trials. And Nagaland Transport Department has lifted temporary suspension of services pertaining to registration of vehicles and driving licenses. Motor Vehicles Department shall resume its function of registration of vehicles and issue of driving licenses with immediate effect. Standard operating procedure on COVID-19, along with periodical instruction issued by the state government, will be strictly adhered. And to end the news, the headlines here again. Centre writes to state governments and union territories to include all eligible disabled persons under the National Food Security Act 2013. Information and Broadcasting Ministry releases detailed SOP for resuming work in media production industry. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh says states and union territories can avail Common Eligibility Test to be conducted by National Recruitment Agency for job selection, and Nagaland's COVID-19 tally climbs to 3,686. That's all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.